It's time for college football in Hartford, Connecticut. The UConn fans were out early to cheer on Bob Diaco and the Huskies, led by sophomore quarterback Brian Sheriffs, coming off an impressive debut last week. They take on explosive sophomore quarterback Ahmad Bradshaw and the Army West Point Black Knights. It's Army and UConn right now. Connecticut's capital city, Hartford, roots for one school, and that's UConn. Here come the Huskies. From Brad and Whitney Stadium at Rensselaer Field in East Hartford, home to UConn football. Today the Huskies of the American Conference go head-to-head with Army West Point. Hello again, everyone. Welcome to East Hartford. Great to have you with us. Dave Ryan alongside Corey Chamis, former Pro Bowl defensive back. We're joined by Lauren Gardner on the field in a moment, and partner at Yankee Stadium. These teams played last year. What a finish it was. Chris Carney, a pick six, 99 yards for Army West Point to win it. Should we expect another close game today?
I think we definitely have one potentially in store. It comes down to a couple different things, Dave. Number one, UConn has to do a better job of securing the edges. If they can do that and make some big plays over the top, you could see some back and forth regardless of time of possession.
Well, for UConn, there's a new Sheriffs in town, as in Brian Sheriffs. The NC State transfer quarterback has some weapons to go to. Ron Johnson, leading returning rusher from a year ago. Tommy Myers' first career touchdown catch last week against Villanova, career night. And Noel Thomas had 4 touchdown grabs a year ago, their leading receiver. What does Sheriffs offer the UConn offense?
I think pace. The one thing that you noticed when he was under center was that all of the decisions were made quickly. And if he could continue that trend, I think it's going to be a positive one for this football team, because let's face it, last year they had problems sustaining drives, Dave. They've got to do a better job on third downs this year.
Second career start as well for Ahmad Bradshaw, sophomore from quarterback for Army West Point. Spectacular against Fordham. On our air a week ago at West Point, 2 touchdowns in the air, 2 on the ground.
And when you had that type of multi-dimensional ability, it normally comes from decision-making. Here, off the play-action pass, being accurate. But right here, this is what they ask him to do. Read the defensive ends, the outside linebackers, the forwards, make the proper decisions. And when he does, he can be magical.
And UConn will not have defensive tackle Foley Fatukasi for the first half of this game, suspended for the opening 30 minutes after being ejected for fighting late in the fourth quarter last week against Villanova. Lauren Gardner on the field has more on that story.
And Dave, Coach Diaco told us yesterday that the incident was in no way a reflection of the player's character. However, per NCAA rules, he will have to spend the first half in the team's locker room, not even allowed to watch from the sidelines. But guys, the D lineman was in good spirits during pregame warmups, dancing and joking around with his teammates. He told me the situation was unfortunate, but it was a good teaching moment, and he plans to bring everything he has to this second half.
They'll need him in the second half. For head coach Bob Diaco, Lauren, thank you. National Assistant Coach of the Year at Notre Dame. Before taking this Husky job, he told us yesterday he expects a 4-quarter fight from Army West Point. Jeff Monken came to West Point after a very successful run at Georgia Southern. 4 wins last year for the former assistant coach with Paul Johnson, both at Georgia Tech and at Navy. He knows this triple option offense very well. Allegro weather today, beautiful late summer afternoon in East Hartford. Just a slight chance of rain. Very hot week throughout the Northeast, including Hartford. Ready to go here. Grachowski will kick off. UConn has won the toss and will receive. Arkel Newsom, Josh Mariner are the deep men to receive the kick from Grachowski, senior from Sarasota, Florida. Picture perfect afternoon for college football. And a great crowd today at Rensselaer Field. Army 0-1, lost to Fordham last week. UConn beat Villanova 1-0. Both played FCS opponents. First game of the year against the FBS team. Starts right now. Newsom watches that go deep into the end zone, grabs it for a touchdown. Time now for the Chick-fil-A starting lineups. For UConn, as we talked about, this team now belongs to sophomore transfer Bryant Sheriffs from Jefferson, Georgia, near Atlanta. He had his first start of his career, and only before coming to UConn at NC State, before heading north to UConn, threw for 202 yards, 2 touchdowns in his UConn debut a week ago Thursday against Villanova to go along with 1 interception. Early shift, and Johnson, the featured back. Play fake, and Sheriffs will throw on first down. Arkel Newsom makes the grab. And a nice pickup, wheel route out to the 40, gain of 15, first down UConn.
Well, they aligned him up in the offset position at fullback and ran him right up the seam, and that's something that Army's defense has struggled against, the seam routes that happened last week against Fordham. UConn comes out right away and attack it under offensive coordinator Frank Verducci.
Great start for the sophomore Bryant Sheriffs. Newsom so valuable. First down play. Thomas makes the grab on the screen, and Ryan England puts him down. 1-yard gain.
It comes down to it today. The one thing, or the one player I believe that has to have a big day is Ron Johnson. He's a guy that runs behind his pass. He's got excellent change of direction. And I think they're going to mix him in to set up some of those play-action passes, something they want to be good at in their offense.
Second down. Screen pass set up. Josh Mariner makes the catch in space and is smashed down by England and Timpf. Speaking of whom, the Army defense, watch out for linebacker Jeremy Timpf. Led the Cadets last year, 117 tackles. What a leader this young man must be. Voted a captain by his teammates as a junior. That's a rarity at West Point, with more than 1,000 future Army officers graduating with each class. He's something special. He had 9 tackles last week against Fordham to lead Army West Point.
Well, here we go, Dave. Third down. And this is the down they've got to be successful in.
Sheriffs, time, flushed, makes his move, lost the ball. Did King grab it? Yes, he did. Andrew King, fumble recovery. It's a turnover. Army West Point takes over in great field position. Timpf and King, the linebackers, combine on the turnover for Army.
A lot of times what happens is your defensive lineman running back to the football. Watch the play that time inside by Jordan Smith. He retracts his steps, and he's able to come back in pursuit, and Sheriff tries to extend the ball, and that tackle enabled it to come out. And King, who was always around the ball a year ago, doing it again today.
And what did Bob Diaco say to us yesterday? It was so key with Sheriff's ball handling. And that's the key as well for Ahmad Bradshaw in this triple option Army offense. Bradshaw will keep, and he's stood up and sent back by Kenton Adeyemi, among many. Chick-fil-A starting lineup for the Army Black Knights. More on Bradshaw. Black Knight coaches told us this week, best first start of any quarterback they've ever been around. 2 touchdown passes, 2 on the ground, running this triple option, unflappable through his first game with very few poor reads. And Corey, that's such a key for a young quarterback like this, to read his defenders coming at him.
And you're exactly right, Dave. And it'll come down to the edges. A lot of times he has to read the defensive end or the fourth support.
Option look. Bradshaw keeps again. Makes a great move upfield. Javon Williams from his cornerback spot makes the play. Gain of 9, first down.
And last time he ran behind Brett Toth on that right side and Matt Giacinta. But Ryan Alexander on the left side, he does a very good job of arc blocking. That'll be a path kind of in an arc movement outside to pick up some of those outside elements that we're talking about as you see Bradshaw read. So pay attention to him today. Excellent mobility.
It's first down. Giacinta gets the carry, and he stood up and drilled right away. What a hit that was by Junior Joseph.
Wow.
Bumped him.
I mean, this is the smackdown. Wham! Right there in the... Dave, that was how you wanted to hit me yesterday. but that was a good hit.
Not really.
Yes, it was.
Not really, Corey.
That's a highlight film hit.
Textbook tackle.
Yes, it was.
Bradshaw pitches. Walker has it, and Joseph helps track him down, along with Obi Melanfonwa from his safety position. For UConn defensively, Bob Diaco and his staff so happy. Luke Carrizzola's back on the field, suffered a knee injury last year after only 6 games. Had 6 tackles, a career best last week against Villanova, including a fumble recovery. Coach Diaco told us last year as a freshman, Carrizzola might have been his best player. It is a developing program in Storrs. Third down, flag flies. Bradshaw across the 30, needs the 28 for the first down. Let's see what the call is. Our referee today is Ed Ardito.
I think that might be an offsides.
Cost UConn 5. Bob Diaco knows early mental mistake on a third down does not help.
No, it doesn't. And when you get in there and have those early mental mistakes, you don't expect them to come from your leaders. And that was the captain, Marquise Mann. And last year, I thought they had some early mental errors, Dave, in the game that allowed them to get behind 14-0 to this football team. A lot of it had to do with penalties, unforced errors.
Trainer, the motion man this time. And Kemper dives ahead, put down by Marquise Mann. Aaron Kemper, junior from Cincinnati, ran for 36 yards last week in the season opening loss at Mikey Stadium. Heartbreaker against an FCS team for Army and Company. A winnable game. Second down, shotgun look. Not much to it all for Drew Harris. Freshman from Fountain, Colorado, gets his first career carry.
When you look inside, that's the big thing. Securing the A and B gaps. Those are the gaps between the center and the guard and between the guard and the tackle. They do an excellent job that time. You have to secure those gaps if you're going to be able to stop the dive. And they did it perfectly on that last time. And now they've gotten them in a 3rd and 6.
Here's third down. Confusion backfield. Carrizzola all over Ahmad Bradshaw. It's a loss of 1 for Army West Point.
Well, a lot of times it comes down to this guy right here, the defensive end. You're going to have to read him after you make the fake, and watch what he does. Instead of going outside, he takes the quarterback because he knows he has the force man outside. That's good discipline by Carrizzola. That's how you have to defend this attack. Discipline on the edges.
First attempt of the year for Daniel Grochowski, the senior from Sarasota, Florida, from 40 yards out. Punter Alex Tardu is the holder. And he's got it. It's 3 for Army West Point, officially from 41 to begin scoring here today in East Hartford. Big confidence builder. Grochowski has his 26th career made field goal in his Army West Point career. Army an early lead on UConn from the American Conference.
College football on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by E-Trade. Opportunity is everywhere. By Vistaprint. When building a future, everything you create matters. Vistaprint.com. And by the all-new Chrysler 200. Ready to take on the world.
Take a look at the UConn campus and stores about 35 miles from where we are here at East Hartford. We had a nice meeting yesterday with Bob Diaco, his staff, tight end Tommy Myers as well. Army scoring drive. Corey, just the start Jeff Monken wanted.
Really was. I think the big thing is you finish it. You finish it with some points. Gronkowski is getting off to a good start because it didn't just start with that. It also started with the kickoff because he was able to force them back and have to drive the whole field with the touchback on his first kickoff.
How about this note? Army's recovered fumbles on both opening drives of their opponents to begin the season. Last week at Michie Stadium against Fordham resulted in a touchdown. Today against UConn in a field goal. Gronkowski kicks off. And Newsom, former schoolboy star in Connecticut, takes a knee for another touchback. It's out to the 25. 5 different ball carriers on that opening drive, Corey, against UConn for Army. That's tough to defend. And Brian Sheriff's, speaking of ball handling, he's got to hang on to the rock here if UConn's going to win this game.
If he's going to run it, if you're going to keep it and try to pick up a first down as he did, then you have to be alert in terms of ball security.
Ron Johnson, feature back on first down. Chase left, trouble, down he goes. Timpf is there. And so is England to put him down. A free safety. Ryan England, sophomore from Sewanee, Georgia, big play defensively.
This is what they call a two-back stretch. He wants to stretch it outside, maybe cut back. You mentioned England. He hadn't allowed that. A big reason why was outside you had Beowulf in perfect position. It allows you to take those types of angles in England.
Second and 13 from the 1.
Off the loss of 4. Sheriffs. Vincent on pressure coming, almost got to him. And finally it's King in space. Andrew King from his middle linebacker spot makes the play. No gain there. Great defense for Army in this series so far.
Oh, that last time you got a one-on-one matchup with the guy that they believe is a pretty good pass rusher in Kenneth Brenson. One-on-one, watch him run right through Ron Johnson. And you got to be able to pick up because they will mix some things up defensively in terms of bringing some heat. Jay Bateman, very creative at times.
The offensive coordinator. 4 wideouts in here for UConn on 3rd and 14. Sheriffs, some pressure coming. Go route, deep ball, brought in. Carnegie on coverage, but Thomas Lucas, the big pickup. It's the best play offensively of the day for UConn, gain of 34.
He really doesn't look off the safety in the middle of the field. But when you look at this one-on-one matchup, Carnegie a step behind. And last year he was able to make some plays down the field. That time the size of Lucas, I believe, played a factor, as well as the arm length as he extended.
Lucas at 6'2", 213 for the 2nd catch of the season. DiLorenzo, feature back this time for UConn, makes a nice cut in traffic and put down by Jordan Smith among many in a big pile of Army defenders, gain of 3. A little more on Bryant Sheriffs here, partner, from Jefferson, Georgia, outside Atlanta. His first career game at NC State, he started that game. The only game he ever played for the Wolfpack in the ACC before his transfer.
And that's what you want to see him do, is recognize matchups. He recognized one-on-one coverage on the outside, and he took advantage and showed the touch on the deep ball, on the deep pass.
Second down, it's Johnson. Runs directly in to Jeremy Timpf. Weak side linebacker. He told us this week, favorite all-time moment of his career has got to be last year's UConn loss to Army at Yankee Stadium. The pick 6 by Chris Carnegie, 99 yards it was brought back when UConn had gotten all the way to the 6-yard line of Army West Point trying to win the game late. Less than a minute to go. That was something. Third and 6. Pressure coming. Deep ball again. Thomas can't grab it. Carnegie pass interference. Flags fly from all directions. A PI coming and an automatic first down here for UConn.
Pass interference, defense, number 14. First down.
Clearly, he gets his head back around, but then he runs by the reception point. And I think that's what allowed his left arm to extend, and that's why he got the call. So even though he made the attempt to look back, when you extend that arm and impede the receiver's progress, they're going to get you on that call every time.
You got a few PIs in your career, but you were never wrong, were you? You were never the guilty party.
What games have you done before this one?
Just keep competing.
Do you know how many?
No, I don't.
I'll have to look that up for next week.
You won't find that stat.
Here's first down. It's Ron Johnson. Navigates left, looks for room. Tim and company trying to bring him down in traffic. Not easy to do with Ron Johnson. Gain of 2. And Scott Washley, the sophomore from Raleigh, North Carolina, involved in the tackle as well.
Rhino, you know what's pretty interesting so far? They tried to run the ball outside, and I think the advantage is running the ball inside against a smaller front. This team does a really good job of running to the football, so the more you attack the edges, I think that plays to their strengths.
Here's second down. Screen pass set up for Mariner. Makes a tackle and miss. Josh Mariner, first down and then some. England finally helps knock on out of bounds. Inside the 10-yard line, down to about the 6. It'll be first and goal for UConn, gain of 17. Steven Johnson just whiffed on that tackle.
And he's missed some tackles on tape, and I think that's something that last year he did a pretty good job moving inside the safety, making some tackles. I think he's missed more tackles on the edge than he did inside.
First and goal, gonna be Ron Johnson. Hoyt can't make the tackle initially in space, and then Johnson pushes the pile to the 4. It's a gain of about 3 yards on first and goal. Second and goal coming up here for UConn. Trying to take the lead. Today's Red Zone being brought to you by Verizon. In the opening week, 57 of 123 FBS teams were perfect inside the red zone. Pretty good. 2 touchdowns, 3 trips a week ago for Bob Diaco's Huskies. Such a key stat. Second down. Johnson, deep block, DiLorenzo. Johnson can't turn the corner though. Ryan England comes up from his safety spot and drops it. Great defensive play by England. Former wide receiver at Army West Point, lost it 2.
Well, we talked about Steven Johnson earlier. Watch him force it right here. He forces it back inside to allow England to come out. He did that going against Max DiLorenzo on the outside trying to kick him out. Got to be able to support the run when they run to the edges to allow your team speed to take force.
Long drive already. Play number 10 coming up. Almost 6 minutes worth for UConn. And a huge third and goal coming up. And why not use these timeouts? I'm all for that, Bob Diaco. Big play early in the game. Timeout UConn. Third and goal coming up. Can the Huskies punch it in and take a lead on Army West Point? College football underway on CBS Sports Network. Join our host Adam Shine and our panel of experts as they get you ready for the first football Sunday of the year. That other pregame show, Tops, presented by DraftKings, returns tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Lauren Gardner, what are you seeing down there with UConn and communication?
Well, on the sidelines, it looks like Sheriff was having a little bit of a communication issue with the signal caller. He ran over to the sidelines, pointing at his wristband. I think they took that timeout just to get on the same page here in the red zone.
All right. Good observation. Field level, Lauren. We'll see what Sheriffs and company can do off the timeout. Corey, empty backfield. What do you see?
I see some crossing routes coming up or developing, and that's what I want to see them attempt to do in this part of the field.
Now a shift. Markel Newsom to the right of Sheriffs. Big third and goal. Noel Thomas can't bring it in. It's incomplete. Good coverage by Steven Johnson. Had that missed tackle earlier on the drive. And UConn will line up for a field goal.
Much better job this time of playing through the hands. I think he timed it perfectly. Even though he didn't really get his head back around, he played through the ball. They'll give you a little bit more leeway in that part of the field.
Redshirt junior from North Palm Beach, Florida, Bobby Puyol will come in to attempt this short field goal. Did not have a field goal try last week against Villanova. He's 2 of 3 on his PATs. This from 23. And he ties the game.
When they got the field goal, Dave, and it came down to one thing. Sheriff's locating the matchups on the outside. Perfect touch to Lucas to set up Puyol on the field goal.
Last November 8th, you saw it on CBS Sports Network. Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Army, UConn. Army up 28-14 thanks to 2 touchdown runs from Angel Santiago and Joe Walker. UConn came back, driving late though, until this play. Chris Carnegie from the 1 picks off Chandler Whitmer, and away he goes. It's a 99-yard pick six, and Army wins the game 35-21. That, Corey, was with 28 seconds left in the fourth from the 6-yard line. Carnegie and company win that one. Army won 4 games a year ago as we recap the UConn scoring drive that ended up in Puyol's short field goal. That was incredible last year.
It was, and it was Carnegie just making a play. I mean, they weren't in man coverage. They were in some type of zone. And you had the quarterback, Chandler Whitman, try to throw across his body, and he made it pay.
Matt Giacinto, fullback for Army, told us this week on the phone he was running down the field from the sideline, out of bounds, of course, legally, with Chris Carnegie, just wheeling him into the end zone for that huge play so late. Michael Tarbut, freshman from Grimsby, Ontario, Canada, will kick off here. Marcus Hyatt, Nicholas Black are deep to receive for Army West Point. Freshman deep man. It's Hyatt from the 9. Spun around and sent down at about the 22-yard line. Obi Melanfanwa involved, and so was Jeremy Chaplin. Return of 12 yards there for Army West Point to set up 1st and 10.
Yes, sir.
327 rushing yards a year ago in that game at Yankee Stadium. Can Jeff Monken and company, Corey, repeat that feat?
It'll be tough because I don't believe that Connecticut, even though they're playing some of the similar coverages and fronts from last year, they're doing a better job so far to me.
On 1st down, to misdirection. Bradshaw ran for 143 last week. Was in some trouble in traffic there before finally being put down by Junior Joseph and Andrew Adams. Michael Myers helped trip him up as well from a defensive tackle spot.
Well, Michael Myers, that's the guy that you mentioned. He's right here inside. And watch him really do a pretty good job of working back across. And watch how he gets back into play, beating the trap block. Now, he kind of got tripped up there at the end, but you're talking about a guy that weighs 323 pounds. He was one of the better players in the game last season against Army inside.
And he's replacing the suspended Foley Fatukasi today for the 1st half. Here's 2nd down. The fake to Giacinta. Bradshaw. Carazola gets there, stands him up, and sends him right back. It's a loss of 1. Carazola, the sophomore from Langhorne, Pennsylvania, had a fumble recovery last week against Villanova. He's special.
Well, he's doing a good job of playing through the dive and coming back outside. The one guy who's doing an excellent job in terms of linebacker play is Matt Walsh, number 36. He's got the pitch outside, so they're cupping the football pretty well, particularly to the boundary or the near side of the field. That's when the ball is on this short hash. They don't have a lot of field to work with.
Final minute of the 1st quarter. Pitch, Giacinta in traffic, the dangerous shovel pass. And he gets out to about the 29, gain of 5. Junior Joseph is first to him to drop Giacinta, one of the co-captains at Army West Point. He is shy of the marker, and the Cadets will punt.
You can tell UConn came out with the mission today in terms of how they were going to defend, and they're executing the plan pretty well early. Defense really running to the football, and I think the gap discipline has been outstanding.
Alex Tardu, senior for Army West Point, averaged 42.5 yards a punt last week.
Number 18, Brian LaBelle.
Season debut against Fordham. Lamell, deep man to receive for UConn. On a bounce, lets that go. Nice. Black Knight bounce all the way down to the 15-yard line. That is where UConn will take over, 1st and 10. 56-yard punt there by Alex Tardu. Let's talk about the history of UConn football. Of course, they did get to the Fiesta Bowl 4 years ago in Randy Edsall's final season before bolting to Maryland now in the Big Ten. They started playing football a long time ago. Army started in 1890, but only 3-2 in the 5 bowl games they've played. A lot of guys in the NFL, and you've evaluated UConn players over the years and seen quite a bit of talent in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of talent, and you look at this Fiesta Bowl, and really what happened in that game, you're playing against a team I thought it just had a little bit more in terms of the ammunition, but you know, that was a very, very emotional year for them for some of the things that happened off the field, and it was a good job by them even getting to that point in the season.
Lost to 9th-ranked Oklahoma out in Arizona that year in their 5th all-time bowl game. They were Big East champs that year in the BCS era and the BCS Big East inclusion. That, of course, has changed quite a bit in the last few years. Sheriffs and company back on offense. Not much doing for Arkel Newsome at all, running left and dropped by John Voigt, who had a huge game against Fordham last week, a career-high 6 tackles. There goes Army West Point sprinting down the field at the end of the quarter. It's what they do at the end of 1. Great game so far, all tied 3 apiece. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network from East Hartford. Pretty warm day. Fans doing their best here in East Hartford. 3-3 getting set to start the 2nd quarter. Tuesday night at Eastern. Join CBS Sports Network for fresh perspectives from some of the most exceptional women in sports as they discuss all that's happening both on and off the field. We need to talk right here on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Our cell phones say 75 degrees, but it's the feels like is the key, as Lauren Gardner knows. It's pretty warm here today. Getting set to start the 2nd. Sheriffs 4 for 5, 69 yards passing in that 1st quarter. Second underway on 2nd down. Play fake to Arkel Newsome. Sheriffs on the move, looking for Noah Thomas way over his head, incomplete. England on coverage at about the 40. 3rd down coming up.
One of the things they talked about was being the best play-action team. And watch him right here, pretty good extension. I think he could probably get his arm extended a little bit more into the belly of Newsome. But then this is the part that's a little bit discouraging. You got a wide-open Thomas. As you see, offensive coordinator Frank Verducci kind of disappointed in that last one. He missed a wide-open Thomas on a wheel route.
3rd down, shotgun. Sheriffs, time, throws. Lamell makes the catch. Spun ahead and gets himself to the 25-yard line. Just ahead of that, should have enough for a UConn 1st down. And the flag, the chains will move here. The junior from Harrisburg, PA, has the catch.
Well, that was a good throw. A little bit behind, but it still gave him an opportunity to reset himself to get those extra 3 or 4 yards after the catch. And it was a controlled pass on 3rd and short.
Gain of 10 there, partner. We have not seen Tommy Myers or Alec Bloom, their star tight ends at UConn, involved much. Frank Verducci yesterday compared the UConn offense to the Patriots and Gronk. Use those tight ends a lot. 1st down. Johnson gets by the tackle of England and is finally put down in space by Voigt. But a nice pickup. First down yardage. Gain exactly of 10 there for Ron Johnson, his best run of the day so far. 69 yards, had a career best 23 carries a week ago Thursday against Villanova. Johnson on 1st down. Gets over Malala, and is put down by Jordan Smith, defensive tackle. Smith had 3 stops last week against Fordham. And we mentioned, Corey, that each team played an FCS squad last week. Army shouldn't be too ashamed. Fordham's a good team in that division, and Nova very good in the FCS as well.
No question. You got one team in the Patriot League, another team from the CAA, one of the top conferences in FCS football.
Second down. Steady dive to Ron Johnson, and England comes up and sticks him from his safety spot. First contact for Ryan England, who has adjusted incredibly well from being a receiver a year ago and becoming a defensive back. He had 9 tackles against Air Force last year, career best.
Well, watch the gap control by these defensive linemen. They're going to cut off everywhere where he has to go, and watch him have to cut back. And then you're going to see the safety right there, England. He cuts back into England because they cut off the gaps to the front side. And I think that's what you're going to have to do when you're a little bit smaller, is beat the Connecticut or UConn offensive lineman to the spot.
Blue in the motion man on third down, and whistles first. Timeout call by UConn before the play.
Prior to the ball being snapped, UConn called timeout. That's their second.
Second play stoppage, first half for Bob Diaco. Huskies, Army West Point, all tied 3-3 on a picture-perfect afternoon for college football. This week's Conago Scholar Athlete of the Week is Andres Kanapi, the junior offensive lineman from Denmark. Right tackle. He picked up football as a teenager from watching the NFL on TV and on some YouTube clips, he says. He really was into archery and handball growing up in Denmark, so he got involved with a club team in Denmark. Paul Pasqualoni, the former head coach at UConn, his staff got wind of how good Kanapi was and offered a scholarship. Sight unseen, he came across the pond, has been a big star, and is a captain at UConn. How about that? Third down. Whistles and flags and a false start before this one gets going.
False start, offense, number 53. 5-yard penalty, third down.
That's Andres Kanapi. We were just talking about him. What a great
jinxed him.
player he was. I want to know this, though, Corey. How many European-born captains are there in FBS football?
That's a stat I definitely wouldn't have.
Can't be many. That shows what a great leader he is.
Well, you got to do a better job on third down of preventing, if you're a leader, of those types of mistakes. And he is a captain, and he had a holding call last week that resulted in a safety.
Third and long. Play fake to Arkell Newsom. Sheriff's on the rollout. Throws him in moving traffic. Myers makes a great catch with England all over him to the 49-yard line. We mentioned a moment ago the tight ends have to be more involved. Tommy Myers coming off a career night against Nova last week. Pick up a 14.
Well, it's the bootleg, him on the move, and a little bit of a dangerous throw. I thought Ryan England had a chance maybe to step in front of that one, but he did a good job with the ball placement, putting it to the back shoulder of Myers.
On first down, Arkell Newsom runs left, trouble. Malala is the first to him, the senior from North Las Vegas, Nevada. A loss of one, a career best 5 tackles against Fordham last week for TJ. He was effective along, I thought, with Smith and Voigt up front against the Rams last week.
Well, again, this is one of those outside stretch runs, and they're beating the UConn offensive lineman to the spot. Remember, they're quicker than the bigger UConn offensive lineman, a big reason why they're getting that penetration.
Your second down. Play fake. Ball handling key for Sheriff's. Going to run with it. Midfield for Brian Sheriff. Chased out of bounds. On the play there by Steven Johnson. Guessing the 45-yard line. Gain of 6 there for Sheriffs.
And I thought Andrew King squeezed down a little bit too much on that one and allowed Sheriffs to get to the edge. He's got to be a little bit more disciplined, particularly when you're away and you're to the field. The field having more room for him to work with in bootleg too. I would have thought he would have had a little bit more patience in that situation.
You saw the third down passing numbers. Beals the motion man for Sheriffs, who throws. Low toss, incomplete. Looking there for Thomas Lucas. Tried the Catch off the natural turf surface here at the 40. 4th down coming up.
Well, you got to make an accurate pass. And, you know, it's a good effort by Lucas, but he couldn't get his hands quite up underneath the football as the ground kind of allowed him to make that catch. And that's one of those throws, if you're Sheriffs, you like to have back.
Justin Wayne in a punt here for UConn. Edgar Poe, the deep man. Middle name, Allen. That's right, Edgar Allen Poe. Fair caught at 10. And that's where Army West Point takes over when we come back. Nice punt there for Wayne. 37 yards, 3-3 game.
We're all tied up at 3 apiece here at Rentschler Field, and the Army senior class looking to lead the Black Knights to the first victory of the season. And this class was part of a very special tradition 2 weekends ago in a ceremony at Trophy Point. It was their ring ceremony where they were presented with their class rings. Now you can see right here, this looks like the traditional article, but this year's are very special. They actually contain steel from the World Trade Center, as well as gold from previous cadets' rings that have been melted into them and donated. And guys, we spoke with Captain Matt Giacinta earlier this week, who told us he didn't know exactly how special the ceremony and the ring itself would be until he actually opened it up. I have Kelvin Whites here. That's a lot of pressure, guys. I hope I keep it safe.
Please do, Lauren. Great story. Bradshaw keeps on first down, gets out to about the 16-yard line for Army West Point. Andrew Adams makes the stop defensively. 22 rushing yards for the young sophomores so far, and so emotional, of course, for so many people, Corey, across the nation, across really worldwide yesterday with the remembrance of September 11th yesterday. And we thank all the cadets for their service. Upon graduation, they will be second lieutenants in the United States Army. Your second down. Mesh play. And the carry goes to Kemper. Up the middle there for a short gain. Cut down by Walsh. It is a first down. Matt Hugenberg heads off for Army. Lost his helmet. We'll keep a close eye on number 53 in white. Joshua Boylan's come in for him at center. Lofi Tomasese, the listed second center, on the 2 deep for Army West Point. First down. Here's the pitch. Gonna be Kemper. He runs into trouble immediately with Javon Williams.
That's a lot of bodies, D. That's a lot of bodies, D.
Pick up a 1 that time. Brent Davis, second-year offensive coordinator. Jeff Munkin came with Coach Munkin from Georgia Southern. Great to talk with Brent this week. Hoping, of course, to chew up as many rushing yards as possible. Running for almost 300 yards a game last year. Hugenberg has returned at center for Army. Bradshaw spins, pitches, Trainer. Melanfonwa right along the sideline there. Flags do fly. It was out of bounds, and that should be a personal foul call on Melanfonwa. Automatic first down plus 15 yards. I thought he was in the white there when he got hit by Obi Melanfonwa. Gain of 7 without the penalty. You agree, Corey?
Yeah, it was definitely a penalty, and a little frustrating for Coach Bob Diaco because of the penalties last season against this team.
Dead ball foul, unsportsmanlike conduct for taunting. Number 20 on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. That's the first unsportsmanlike conduct foul on number 20.
So an unsportsmanlike taunting call on Melanfonwa, not the late hit, which I thought it might have been. I thought he was out of bounds there. Clearly it was by a full stride. But there's the glare and the talk, and that is carefully observed by officiating crews nationwide. Sportsmanship is so important. Second straight week, Bob Diaco's got to be so frustrated. His team has had a taunting penalty. Ron Johnson last week. So first down for the Black Knights. Bradshaw navigates through traffic. Second level, then some. Come on, Bradshaw. Here he goes. 10-5. Goal line, end zone, touchdown, Army West Point. From 57 6 yards out. This kid is something else.
Well, you watch him right here. It was a pretty good block that time and a missed tackle from Andrew Adams, the safety, who struggled mightily against this unit, I felt like, last season.
Kwiatkowski in for the PAT. He's got it. And Army has a 10-3 lead on the long touchdown run by super sophomore Amon Bradshaw.
Well, it was super because he was able to make defenders miss. And not only did he make Adams miss, but Summers couldn't quite get to him as he strides in, making it happen. Army West Point on point.
Third career touchdown run for super sophomore Bradshaw. Career long 56-yard run. Corey, what happened?
Well, the number one thing that happened is right here, you get a pretty good block against Sean Marinon. And then you also have an excellent block to come up by the little man, Aaron Kemper, number 25, 5'6", 210 pounds. And then watch Bradshaw read off of it. And actually, that wasn't him. That was a... And then the missed tackle that time by Andrew Adams, one-on-one in the hole. Summers can't get to him, but obviously the missed tackle was important. But to be able to read the interior blocks as well as he did, and to be able to crease through traffic, a big reason why that run popped out.
Adams, the captain. Melifonwa, an experienced safety. John Green, defensive back. Summers, they all mispursued and took poor angles against Bradshaw, who's quick. That's 4 defensive backs who could have made that play for UConn. Wow. Kwiatkowski kicks off. Newsome that's just inside the pylon for the touchback, almost out of bounds. Would have been UConn's ball for 35. A break for Kwiatkowski and Army. And the special teams coaches in film on Monday will say, you were close. That was close to going out of bounds.
And I want to make sure, too, Dave, to give credit to the correct running back on that play, the B-back, Drew Harris. He was the guy who made that block, and he was making it against a pretty big defensive lineman coming through there. So, you know, when you can get a hat on a hat and you've got a pretty special athlete at quarterback, big things can happen.
And we saw Melifonwa a moment ago had that taunting penalty. Second week in a row, UConn's been victimized by a taunting call. Fatu Kasi was thrown out for fighting last week against Villanova. So those penalties hurting UConn badly. Huskies take over. Play fake. Sheriffs. Time. Over the middle. Incomplete, flags fly everywhere. Johnson is going to be called for the pass interference. Sergi Mayala,
Number 17.
a
Automatic
freshman playing in his
down.
first career game, going for that catch.
Yeah, well, he grabs him right there around the elbow, and you can kind of see that anytime you do that, it's pretty easy for them to make the call. And Johnson has had a little bit of angst, I believe, today so far in coverage.
Mayala, freshman from Montreal, Quebec. Frank Verducci, offensive coordinator for UConn, told us yesterday he'd be much more involved, had a great week of practice. First down for the 40. Screen set up. Noel Thomas makes the catch. Carnegie bumps him out of bounds. Coach Carnegie, nice play from his corner spot, playing the field corner for Army defensively.
Dave, one thing that I want to go back to that we talked about in the open was the fact that they were going to take some shots down the field against this Army defense. They're losing or without their best corner, Josh Jenkins. They've got Steven Johnson outside and also Chris Carnegie, who had the big plays a year ago. But they're going to have to hold up.
All-time assistant coach Frank Verducci. First year at UConn. Second and short. Arkel Newsome runs left, first down and then some for UConn. Pushes the pile ahead. Alex Ackerman involved in the stop defensively for the Knights of the Hudson. In addition to Jeremy Timpf. Gain of 5 for Arkel Newsome, who set every imaginable Connecticut high school state rushing record. An amazing career from Ansonia, Connecticut. Much more involved this week. Bob Diaco told us yesterday in the game plan, carrying the ball. You see a lot of action last week against Nova. Play fake. Pressure coming. England on the blitz. Sheriffs evasive in traffic. Second level, and then some for Bryant Sheriffs. Inside the 35. And a first down for UConn, using his feet. The NC State transfer. Huskies move the chains, gain of 15.
They're running a trail blitz that time, and he follows in behind and does a pretty good job. Scott Washley was able to draw the guard, and that opened it up for him, and then Sheriff just makes an athletic play.
17. 102 passing yards so far, and now 28 on the ground for Sheriffs. 202 passing yards and a couple of TDs last week against Villanova. First down, play fake again. He'll roll right. Sheriffs throws on the move, way high for it. It is brought in. Thought it might have been to Mariner. Instead, it's grabbed there with Johnson on coverage by Thomas Lucas. It's a complete pass for UConn. That worked out pretty well.
He did, and Lucas has done a good job today of going to the ground to make some low ball grabs. He's done a one that went on the third down a little bit too short. But he's gotten better running comeback routes, and that's a route where you go up to about 14 to 16 yards off of that bootleg action, and you come back to the football against the cornerback.
Newsome on second down. First down and then some. Sent down by Xavier Moss, the former wide receiver turned boundary safety. He's the fastest player on the Army West Point roster. It's a gain of 7. Near face mask there for the Army defense. And UConn moving effectively here. It's by far their best drive of the day.
And I don't think it was a face mask. I know he got up high around the neck. That's just a lengthy tackle from a 6'2", 195-pound safety.
His first down. Play fake. Sheriff steps up. Bryant Sheriff's on the move. Shaky gets down to 10. And a good pickup for Sheriff's. Gain of 6. He ran for 33 yards against Villanova last week in his UConn debut. He and Tim Boyle, a battle in preseason camp. Sheriff's played extremely well in the spring game. UConn coaches told us yesterday and really took over the starting job. An excellent student athlete, one of the top academic performers on the Husky roster. It's his team, his job now. Myers the motion man. Pitch to Arkel Newsom. Looks for room, looks for a cutback. Thinking that a touchdown. He's got it! Heads on, touchdown UConn!
Well, it's the movement of Tommy Myers, the tight end. Watch the block outside. He's the one who set up the cutback for Newsom. And Myers, we've heard a lot about him in the passing game. He's an excellent blocker on the edge. He, along with Alec Bloom, both guys do a very good job in the run game.
First career rushing touchdown for Arkel Newsom. Had a TD catch against Villanova last week. Puyol comes in for the PAT. Blocked. And no good. Jordan Smith, a big defensive tackle, blocked that PAT. It's the second time already this year that UConn on special teams has struggled. What do you see here, Corey?
Well, I see him crease the gap, and it's the gap inside. We talked about a little bit earlier, that A gap. That's the gap between the center and the guard.
But Arkel Newsom, who ran for almost 4,000 yards and 68 touchdowns in high school, has his first career collegiate touchdown. Great move in traffic. Newsom's in, but Army West Point still leads by 1. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, Adam Zucker, Brian Jones, Rick Neuheisel from our CBS Sports Network studio in New York. Preview today's slate of college football. It's a quadruple header on our air today and tonight. First half highlights and stats as well. Corey, how about some NCAA Top 25 news? What a miracle Hail Mary in Lincoln that was last week for BYU. Michigan State, Oregon, huge game tonight in East Lansing. What do you think of that one?
Well, I think it comes down to the finger of Vernon Adams. If that finger, the right index finger, is ready to go, then potentially they can, I believe, put some pressure on Michigan State with pace, as Baylor did last year in the Cotton Bowl. But if not, then I believe that Michigan State at home could control the tempo, the pretty good defense.
Houston capped off a nice drive for UConn, but a missed PAT for Puyol keeps it a 1-point Army-West Point lead. Harvard kicks off. Hyatt and Black are deep to receive for the Black Knights. It's Hyatt for the 9. From the right, it will be Melanfonwo who comes up and makes a huge play on special teams, return of 11. Army's run game. Giacinto was stopped early. UConn defense is reading it, Corey. What happened? What adjustments have the Black Knights made?
Well, one of the things they've done is they've gone to the quarterback run inside, and that comes off of the fake to the fullback sometimes. It comes off a double team, trying to get rid of the nose guard inside. We saw that on the last play. And they incorporated some different guys in that B-back position. Now, you talked about Matt Giacinto, well, they came back with Drew Harris as well.
Bradshaw stats. Bradshaw keeps. Adams misses another tackle, and Graham Stewart finally polishes off on my Bradshaw. Gain of 9. He's up to 87 yards rushing with that long 56-yard touchdown burst earlier in the half.
And one guy to watch right here is him, and I'm talking about Graham Stewart. Watch the decision that Bradshaw makes off of him. As you see, you can freeze it right there. You can see now he's in between both players, and I think that's where you have to make the decision of your Bradshaw as to whether to keep it or pitch it. He does a good job of cutting it back up inside.
Army's run for 111 yards on the ground in the first half so far. Bradshaw fakes the pitch, going to throw for the second time today. And a deep ball, looks for Trainer, it's incomplete at the 35-yard line. Melanfonwo, step for step along with Summers, back deep on coverage. So the second pass attempt of the day for Bradshaw. He completed one earlier to Giacinto for 5 yards.
And I think that's what he allows you to do. You've seen him run the football. You've seen him make a good decision on the edge when it came time to keeping the football instead of pitching it. And then he can come back and hit you with the play-action pass.
Army 0 for 2 so far, third down conversion, 6 for 11 against Fordham in the opener last week. Third down, Bradshaw stops. Julian Campenny, team captain, got their first loss of 1. Big defensive play for UConn. And Army should be in a punting situation here.
Well, he did a good job of beating the block of Jaron Villegas. He has to cut him off right there when they run that option into the boundary. And, you know, one thing about Julian Campenny, another team captain for Connecticut, is that he's very, to me, on time off the snap. And I think that's what you saw right there from him, even over 300 pounds.
Daniel Tardu punts for Army West Point. Lamel deep for UConn. Nice kick. Lamel indicates for a fair catch, backpedaling to the 25, and that's where UConn takes over first and 10. 47-yard punt.
When it comes down to defense, UConn known for stopping the run. The fire plugger inside, often Julian Campenny.
Only 3 miles from downtown Hartford, Connecticut, 10-9, Army West Point a lead on UConn. New offensive coordinator Frank Verducci and UConn head coach Bob Diaco go way back to their days in New Jersey. Lauren Gardner has more on that story.
And they certainly do, Dave. The first-year offensive coordinator Frank Verducci is a longtime coach, and he comes from a pedigree of sports, guys. His uncle Gil Hodges was a well-known MLB player and manager of the '69 Mets, and his father, Tony Sr., was a legendary high school football coach in New Jersey. As a matter of fact, Diaco played for him his freshman year in high school. Now, Verducci's relationship with Diaco dates back to when Diaco was 11 years old, and then he also recruited him in Iowa, saying Diaco was the only recruit he remembers to this day that wore a suit and tie to his visit. He said he was just as intense as he is today, and he brings that same passion to football as a coach that he did as a player.
Also related, Lauren, to Tom Verducci, well-known writer. National level. And here is UConn offensively. What a connection those two have. Sheriffs will throw on first down. Deep ball, looks for Thomas, who makes a great catch with Johnson all over him. What a play by Noel Thomas on the go route.
The touch. Last week, you and Lauren tried to drop it in the bucket. The perfect example of dropping it in the bucket that's 3 yards inside the sidelines and giving your receiver an opportunity to run underneath it. That was textbook.
33-yard gain. Sheriff's numbers, top of your screen. Thomas motion man. Fake the sweep to him, then throw back to Noel Thomas. First down and then some. Sideline. Tim finally catches up with him. Not before another big UConn pickup all the way to the 16-yard line. Tyreek Beals downfield blocking. Excellent job for the true freshman for UConn, gain of 26.
And I think what we're seeing is that Thomas, who had a pretty good game against them last season, they're going to get him involved. The passing game, a focal point so far, putting the pressure or keeping the pressure on this Army West Point defensive unit.
We told you top of the broadcast that Thomas a big weapon offensively for UConn. Getting going now offensively here after a slow start. Sheriffs first down, dumps off to Arkel Newsom, got one touchdown already, then runs into a lot of trouble, polished off by Boyd. Bailey Wolf got there first, the strong side linebacker for Army West Point. It's not easy when you're Arkel Newsom at 5'7", 182, running into Andreas Kanapi at 6'8", 311 pounds. Laws of physics are not working in the favor of Arkel Newsom there. Gain of 1. Sheriffs off the tight end Blue, makes his first catch of the day. And it's wrestled down by King. First grab for Alec Bloom, who had one touchdown catch a year ago from just outside Pittsburgh. Gain of 7.
That's a big play for him because last week he had a key drop. I thought that, could have extended some things for them offensively on one of the drives. But the thing you have to be impressed with Sheriffs, the quick decision making. When he decides to go to something, whether it's a pass outside, a pass to the tight ends, you saw it last week, you've seen it today so far, he makes the decision quickly, and that continues or amps up the pace for UConn.
Key red zone conversion here, third down. I formation, play fake, Sheriffs, end zone, looks for Myers, incomplete. Bobbled, and then eventually it falls. Carnegie on coverage from his cornerback spot for Army. Myers almost brought it in for a touchdown. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I think maybe they'll take, did he corral it here late?
He's already down.
Yeah, I think
the body's out of bounds. I don't think that's possibly a touchdown. We might review that.
Yeah, I would think you might want to take one more look at that because it was a potential scoring play. Now, his left shoulder was out of bounds when he does make this catch here, and I think that's why it won't stand, but here they go.
We'll have a review for good reason. You're right, Corey. It's potential touchdown. And our first review of the day. Coach would like it to be a touchdown, of course.
Well, you didn't see that left shoulder.
Yeah.
We've already seen it.
He's on the other side of the field, you're right. So Ed Ardito will go to the headset here and discuss things with the replay official.
And it's a great play by Carnegie as well. You're going up against a guy 6'5". But watch this left shoulder out of bounds. That's the only part that was out of bounds when he finally did corral it because the rest of his body is off the ground.
This is a great look at it. First one we had that shows the left shoulder hits the paint before he's got the ball. Right. Wow. Well, that's close.
After review,
I'm just wondering.
The ruling on the field of an incomplete pass is confirmed.
All right, incomplete.
Fourth down.
Yeah.
Replay official Buddy Ward in the booth with us. No touchdown for Myers.
I think if we kept looking at it, we were going to convince ourselves it was a score. I'm glad they
always go with your first instinct.
Yeah, we learned that in week 1, or I did.
That's right. All right. No,
good
the
effort,
PAT
though.
was
Good
blocked.
effort.
It was a great try there by Myers. So Puyol in for a short field goal try. 1 for 1 so far. This from 25 yards out. Tim Boyle holds. He's got this one. And it's 3 more for the Huskies and a 12-10 lead. With only 42 seconds left in the first half. American Conference storylines. Saw UCF lose a tough game to FIU last week. That's one of your top stories from a week ago.
Yeah, it was a great game. I mean, we certainly enjoyed it. I think Memphis continuing to win is something. Tulsa, Philip Montgomery getting off on the right foot in a big-time overtime back-and-forth battle with FAU. But the story I thought of the week was Temple's defense. All of the veterans returning for Temple, Dave, and they absolutely, I think, just shell-shocked Penn State with 10 sacks.
First win since the early 40s for Temple over Penn State. They lost 38 in a row against their cross-state rivals. Lincoln Financial Field was packed, and Matt Rule, that's his biggest win, definitely as Temple head coach. But now they got to play Cincinnati tonight on the road in an American Conference opener. That'll be tough for the Owls at the refurbished Nippert Stadium.
It'll be a great atmosphere.
Carver kicks off. Hyatt and Black deep to receive here. Maybe Hyatt from the 2. Looks for seams. Sent backwards. Finds those teammates there. He ran into TJ Atamalala.
Well, I mean, the one thing about that is O'Maine Stevens is the reason why he ran back into it, because
pushed
he
backwards.
That's what you call a button press. And we might get a chance to look at that at some point, but that was an outstanding play by Stevens.
All right, Army West Point partner has 3 timeouts and a long way to go for a potential field goal for Brachowski, who did hit a 52-yarder, his career best last year in the Army-Navy game. Won, of course, by the mids.
I just think you run your offense here.
Bradshaw hands off on first down. And the run there for Kemper. Aaron picks up 2. Junior from Cincinnati.
The reason I said that, Dave, is because let's don't forget the first explosive play was a touchdown run by the quarterback.
No effort here for Jeff Monken and Army to get it upfield. Final seconds without using one of their timeouts. Here's second down. Handoff play. Walker up ahead. Stop there by Matt Walsh. Gain of 2, and that is it for 30 minutes from East Hartford. UConn by 2. Last year's game went right down to the last play, as we saw. The pick 6 at Yankee Stadium by Chris Carnegie to wrap it up for Army West Point. Bobby Yacco and Lauren Gardner on the field.
Well, Coach, this thing has been a battle for 2 quarters. In your mind, what is this thing going to boil down to?
Listen, right there, tackling, fundamentals, fundamental football. We're all over the guy. We got 4 guys at the line of scrimmage on him. They all missed a tackle. We missed a tackle at the second level, and that was the play of the day right there. So we just got to settle down in fundamentals.
I know last week unsportsmanlike penalties were an issue for you. That was a theme throughout the week. What adjustments do you need to make? What's your message?
We're working on it. They're doing. It's a natural reaction after a strong play to stand up, and we're just trying to coach him out of it, but it's not easy. It's become a habit nationally, and we're trying to coach him out of it. He's not a taunting kid. He's a good young man. He's a nice boy. You'd let him babysit your kids. He's a great kid. He didn't mean to do it.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Bob Diaco will certainly talk to Obi Melanfonwa, though, about the taunting penalty that eventually sprung Bradshaw for the long touchdown run. Close game at halftime, 12-10, UConn a lead on Army West Point. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network. The Verizon Halftime Report is next. Last year's matchup was close between Army West Point and UConn. Won late by the Cadets at Yankee Stadium. Tight one again here through 30 minutes from East Hartford. Welcome back, Dave Ryan alongside Corey Chavis. We'll hear from Lauren Gardner on the field in a moment. We expected a tight game. We knew that Army likes to run with a triple option offense. We know UConn likes to pass with Bryant Sheriffs. At the end of this four-quarter fight, as Bob Diaco told us yesterday, is going to happen. Who stands tallest?
Well, right now we'd have to say UConn. They're up by 2 at halftime, and the reason why it comes down to, Dave, I believe, run defense, discipline, and scraping, getting to the football, and that's what they've done in the first half. And when we take a look at it in some of the highlights, one of the things that you'll see is Junior Joseph, the middle linebacker. We're going to spot shadow him right here, and then outside is Matt Walsh. Now watch what happens as they begin the triple option. They're coming down the line. He fakes it to Giaquinta. Watch Joseph get all the way over the top, and then Walsh comes back in to help out. Team defense is a big way to defeat it. And the other thing you have to do is you watch Javon Williams outside at corner. You have to get off of cut blocks. Watch this right here. Uses his hands to get off of the cut block outside on a simple toss sweep. When you use your hands correctly, it allows you to get off against these option-based teams and make plays. And that's what happened.
Foley Fatukasi will play the second half for UConn. As we mentioned, top of the broadcast, suspended for the first half after a fight late in the opener last week against Villanova. And NCAA rules say he's got to sit out the rest of that game, the first half of his next game. He's ready to go against Ahmad Bradshaw and the Army triple option offense. Back down to Lauren.
Guys, I spoke with a very frustrated Army head coach, Jeff Monken, who said there wasn't much to like about that first half. We're not sustaining blocks in offense, and we are not making tackles on defense. And when you're in a game, you only have a few possessions. You have to capitalize on every opportunity. He told his team to get it in gear, guys.
Hyatt with a great return. Marcus Hyatt with a nice run back on the kickoff for Tarbert. Army takes over in good field position after Hyatt's best return of the day. Coach Monken, as Lauren talked about, Corey, frustrated by some of the aspects of that opening 30 minutes, but his team only down by 2. Shotgun look. Bradshaw pitches. Walker looks for room. Andrew Adams this time doesn't miss a tackle and helps wrap up Joe Walker and wrestle him out of bounds. First half drives, Army West Point, and Brent Davis, their offensive coordinator. Long touchdown run, 56 yards for Bradshaw after Melanfonwa had the taunting penalty. Fatukasi is not playing to begin the second half. Interesting. Here's first down. Bradshaw turns it upfield, breaks a tackle. Ahmad Bradshaw open field. Here he goes again. Can Stewart catch him? Yes, from behind. Graham Stewart finally caught up with him. But a tremendous run with a flag down. Hang on, and an injured UConn player. And this may be coming back 49 yards if it stands.
Holding. Holding.
I don't know who that foul was on, Dave, but it was a great crack block on the outside element. That's what opened up the run. And down the field.
Correction number 15 on a hold.
Calls on DeAndre Bell, the Z wide receiver.
Maybe that was too good. If we pause it right here, maybe that's where the holding call came right there. Well, no, it wasn't. That was just a good block by number 2, Kelvin White. Still don't see the holding call by Bell on the play. We didn't hear it from the referee.
Jamar Summers, starting cornerback, sophomore from East Orange, New Jersey, shaken up for UConn. Javon Hadley replaces him. First down, and a big penalty call. Trainer in motion, and Giaquinta, fullback dive, gets himself to about the 35. Campenny first to get to. Matt Giaquinta, senior co-captain for Army West Point from Cold Spring, New York. We had a great chat with Matt this week, Corey. Cold Spring is only 15 miles from Post. At West Point, always wanted to be a Black Knight player, and now he's a captain, really a dream come true for number 40 in white. There's second down. Lost the ball. Went right into the hands of Carrizolo. Almost grabbed it in midair, and Army is so lucky to hop on the loose rock. What a break. As Walker is there on a mishandle, badly by Bradshaw, that was almost disastrous. And a gift into the hands of Luke Carrizolo.
You didn't see many ball handling errors last week, but that time he just pretty much gift wrapped it to Carrizolo.
Wow.
And he dropped it.
How often do you ever see that go directly into the hands of the defender like that? And Carrizolo was so surprised he couldn't grab it. Third down. Bradshaw, low key. And it's hit this time and sent down. Adams didn't miss that tackle, gain of 5. Andrew has been victimized a couple times, including a long touchdown run by Bradshaw and missed tackles. Now decision time for Jeff Monk in short field. Corey, what do you think? Fourth down.
I think you go for it right here. I think one of the things that they've done pretty successfully is moving their formations around. What we've seen today from them is a lot of slot, which means that T-back John Trainer is aligned in the slot, and they've gone in some shotgun. They've mixed up their formations very well, offensive coordinator Brent Davis.
Big play, 4th and 5. And timeout Army West Point. Brent Davis, offensive coordinator. We'll talk things over on the headset with Jeff Monk and on the field. Timeout Cadets. Just underway in the second half. Big fourth down coming up for Jeff Monken. Back down to Lauren.
Well, a few injury updates for you, Dave. Right tackle for Army, Brett Toth, left in the second quarter with an injury to his left leg. So far, no update on his return. And on the other sideline, cornerback Jamar Summers is returning. The training staff took a look at his left knee and left ankle. He ran up and down the sidelines, never took his helmet off, and I saw the trainers give him a thumbs up. He will be returning.
That's good news. Summers, 22 tackles, a pick last year. Foley Fatukasi has returned, suspended for the first half of today's game after fighting late in the Villanova game a week ago Thursday. So big play off a timeout, and it's always crucial to see a team use a timeout early in the second half. Fourth down, end around, Bell, flanker option, no, gonna run, Melanfonwa tracks him down, makes the tackle. And UConn takes over. Obi Melanfonwa, a huge defensive play.
Well, you can see Melanfonwa track it and stay disciplined on the backside. And now it's just one-on-one. Who's the better athlete? And Melanfonwa, who the coaches feel like has a chance and describe him as a freak athletically, you can see why as he wrapped up on that last open field tackle.
I want to get your opinion, Corey, on that end around sort of a trick play there. Sheriffs takes over. Gonna be Ron Johnson, first down. Hounds ahead. Stopped by Timpf. Let's break down Sheriffs a little bit. Had a really good first half, 12 of 16. 177 yards passing in the opening 30. What do you think of his passing game so far?
I like the fact that he's challenged the Army cornerbacks outside the numbers. Now, I think he's made quick decisions, and you also have to like the way that he's gotten out of some sacks. I mean, there was a couple of times Ryan England came through on one. He was able to avoid and adjust, pick up a first down, and he's done a very good job. They talk about play action and the ball handling. He's done pretty well.
Second down. Play fake. Sheriffs. Time. Lucas. Broken up by Chris Carnegie. Incomplete at the 30-yard line. Thomas Lucas had a step on Carnegie.
Well, I think the one thing he has to do is put more air on the football. By not putting the air on the football, he gave Carnegie a chance to recover. If you put more air on his football and let him run under it, then you have an opportunity. But that type of trajectory gave Carnegie a chance to close.
Did you like the Army end-around call on fourth down there?
I did not. I thought they should have gone back to into the boundary with some type of triple option.
I agree with you. Third down numbers so far for Sheriffs. Not bad. Another one of those situations here. Gonna run this time. Brian Sheriffs leans ahead, does get to just outside the 49. It will be a UConn first down. Gain of 8.
You know what, D? I mean, this is what he provides that Whitmer didn't last year, or Tim Boyle. You see him just see an opening and take off and challenge with his feet. And that, when you combine that with the pace that he plays with, it's made this offense improve.
Frank Verducci up in the booth with us, offensive coordinator for UConn. In his first year, got to be pleased with that. Mobility and decision-making from Sheriffs has been excellent today. On first down, Ron Johnson has room. Initially hit by Brandon Jackson.
No,
he blocked there by Richard
hit.
Levy. You're right about that. It was some contact with Johnson going north-south and steamrolling Brandon Jackson. You're right, gain of 8. He kind of just moved on after the contact, didn't he? You're right about that one. Bumped him.
Xavier Moss also had a chance to come up and make a statement, and he kind of caught at the end as well.
Second and short. Kind of feel like UConn can take a shot downfield here. Pressure for Army. Run play instead. Johnson slides ahead and does have a first down for the Huskies. Gets just inside the 40.
I thought you brought up a good point there, though. A lot of times in second and short is almost a waste down for offenses. So you'll see, particularly when they've crossed the 50-yard line, that they will take a shot out of a predominant run formation as that last one was.
Gain of 3 for Johnson. Ran for 429 yards last year to lead UConn. 2-win season a year ago. Lots of movement, flags, whistles, false start.
Tyler
Offense,
Samper, number 60.
5-yard penalty, first down.
Senior from Fairlawn, New Jersey. Don Bosco Prep alum.
Now, why is that important, you ask? And this is what I'm going to come back with. 2 false starts by Sammer last year when I watched the tape against Army. And one of the things that you have to be able to do when you know you're going against quicker defensive linemen is time your get off, and that's why he's starting off a little early.
First down. Penalty. Sacks him up 5. What a catch. Noel Thomas, one-handed grab on the sideline. Bumped out of bounds by Jackson. Flag is down.
Penalties. We've talked about them.
Ineligible man downfield, number 80, was covered by a wider receiver. That's a 5-yard penalty, first down.
I can tell you what happened right here. Well, we didn't get a chance to really see it from here. I could explain that to you a little bit. But what happens was that's really on Thomas. Thomas has to back off the line of scrimmage because he's the last man on the line of scrimmage or the end man on the line of scrimmage. Myers cannot go out for the pass there. That's why they called a penalty.
UConn's going the wrong direction here, partner. Backwards. First and 20. Play fake with pressure coming from King. Pass downfield brought down by Noel Thomas in traffic on a good throw. Brandon Jackson makes the tackle. Pressure, and Andrew King really gave Sheriffs a shot there. Gain of 15.
Well, what Andrew King does a really good job of is timing his blitzes. Now, he did a good job on that one of Bailey Wolf taking up the blocker, and then he accelerated. And he's 235 pounds. King had 5 quarterback sacks last year because he's a very good blitzer.
Second play in a row that Andrew King has gotten the Sheriffs and given him a real pop. Play fake, second down. Sideline route, brought in by the freshman Beals. Tyreek Beals inside the 5. First and goal for UConn. The true freshman electrifying play.
Some missed tackle and a poor angle by Chris Carnegie. And this is a player that has some electricity after the catch. And they tried to get him the ball a lot even last week on some bubble screens in the slot. Now they're playing him on the outside. So his development is extending week to week.
Freshman out of East Orange, New Jersey. Gain of 33 there. And it's first and goal coming up for UConn. Ron Johnson walks in, touchdown UConn. From 2 yards out, number 3 has a touchdown run, untouched by the Army West Point defenders. And UConn separates itself a bit from the Black Knights. Pouillon on for the PAT try. He's got it.
Since Bob Diaco has come to UConn, it's been about one thing, and that's defense. And you can see only Melafon will come up and make a great open field tackle. And that leads to the off-tackle run by Johnson, who's a finisher in this area of the field.
College football on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. By Verizon. One plan, 4 sizes, the simple way to get the best network. And by Allegra Gel Caps. Not just fast, Allegra Fast. Starts working in 1 hour. Use as directed.
Former UConn stars off last year's team. Jeremy Davis, 6th-round pick of the Giants. Byron Jones, 1st-round pick, 27th overall by the Dallas Cowboys. Very talented former Huskies. Used to be FCS, Yankee Conference, the Big East after going to the FBS in the year 2000. A recap of the scoring drive. Ended up in Ron Johnson's short touchdown run. What do you think of that, Corey?
Well, I think the one thing that I've noticed from the beginning of the game is that they're setting up the run today with the pass. And that was something that I felt would happen. And the reason is they've seen some weaknesses in Army West Point's defensive secondary. And they're trying their best to take advantage, and they have thus far.
Michael Tarbett, freshman, will kick off again here for UConn. Directional kick. It's well short. It almost ends up a disaster. Matt Hugenberg brings it in. On the special teams effort with a directional kick that can be a problem. We'll see.
That was a great hit. It was. And the one thing about it, that was a sky kick, something that they occasionally will go to and use. And sometimes what you have are mishaps on those.
Army West Point takes over. And the dive play ends up in a 1-yard gain. Drew Harris, first career game for the Black Knights, freshman from Fountain, Colorado. Bradshaw, 117 yards. Everyone else on the cadet roster, 35 yards rushing, Corey, but when you can't pass the ball much, Army does not play well when behind. We'll talk about that in a moment. Here's 2nd down. Bradshaw pitches. It's grabbed along the edge there by Jordan Asbury. Great game last week, and Adams tracks him down, makes a good play in space. Bob Diaco said that to us yesterday, Court, in our meetings with him at the Stores campus. We want UConn ahead as much as possible. Army is not a good comeback team.
Well, I think what you just saw, that pitch, that's the equivalent on the other side of a 7-yard hitch route, or possession route on 1st down, a possession pass. And what does that create? 3rd down. You get them in the 3rd down, these situations, this gives you an opportunity to get off the field.
Cadets 0 for 3rd down so far. Bradshaw runs the option. Joseph shows him ahead. A flag flies late. A tackle made by Jamar Summers. And there are a couple of markers down. This should come back.
Illegal block in the back. Number 2. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
It's Calvin White, the former quarterback turned tight end for Army.
And White, you can see it right in that area right there. He blocks Matt Walsh in the back. Walsh doing a good job of forcing or trying to force the pitch. But keep in mind, Army 4 penalties today so far. That was their average a year ago. So this is not a highly penalized team, one of the least penalized teams in college football.
Third and long. Bradshaw Campaigning on pressure. Stewart runs right into him, smacks him down. Graham Stewart at the 41. Nothing Bradshaw could do against the transfer from Florida and a redshirt senior from Durham, Connecticut.
When we talked to Coach Bob Diaco, he described him as a great worker. And the thing that you notice about him, he's always where he's supposed to be. He had a key 4th down stop or goal line stop against his team a year ago.
Tardu punts to Lamel, indicates the fair catch makes the grab at 26, and that's where UConn takes over 1st and 10. In good shape, 33-yard punt from Tardu. Huskies on their home field looking for a 2-0 start to the season. College football action continues all day, all night on CBS Sports Network. Quadruple header, Corey Chavis. Minnesota, the Big Ten, Colorado State from the Mountain West. Mike Bobo looking for a 2-0 start. Arizona, Nevada, highly ranked Wildcats, number 22 in the AP poll this week. And then UCLA will take on UNLV from Vegas. 13th ranked Bruins with a great young quarterback, Josh Rosen. How about the upset happening perhaps with Jacksonville State and Auburn, 6th ranked this week? Jacksonville State is driving in the 3rd quarter. Could it be, Corey Chavis?
A good football team in Jacksonville State. Eli Jenkins, the quarterback. I actually had a chance to cover him a couple years back. He's very talented.
Can't wait to watch Josh Rosen, true freshman quarterback tonight for UCLA against UNLV, 10:30 Eastern. What a debut he had last week against Virginia. Spectacular. Sheriff's over center here. Play fake. Bryant Sheriff's gonna run. And escorted out of bounds outside the 30. Hit there by Brandon Jackson. Let's recap Sheriff's Day, Corey.
A lot to recap. You see the touch down the field to Thomas Lucas, who makes an outstanding grab. Then again, attacking one-on-one, Noel Thomas over the shoulder, dropping it in the bucket. The mobility has been there. The placement has been there. He's found the one-on-one matchups.
2nd down. Sheriff's numbers so far. Workmanlike, efficient, a good game manager. Johnson carries again. Spun down after a nice pickup. He needs the 36 for the 1st down. Jordan Smith.
Who said that about the game manager part? I think he's a little more than that.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I think he's got a chance.
Those are the cliches you hear about quarterbacks who don't make a lot of mistakes, but aren't maybe spectacular players. 3rd and short, 3 tight ends in on this one, and a quarterback sneak. Timpf got there first, tried to wrestle him backwards, not successful. Chains move, 1st down UConn. You said in the break a moment ago, attack, attack, attack for the Huskies. They want to put more points on the board right away.
I think so, Dave. I think the big thing for them is being aggressive in terms of just scoring points. That's one of the things we heard from the coaches. We're going to play to score, and I think that's really what you have to do now. Really get this Army defense on their heels and attack these quarterbacks. You got a freshman outside.
First down. Play fake to Johnson. Sheriff steps up in the pocket. Looks to the sideline there for Thomas with Carnegie on coverage. Incomplete at the 45. Back down to Lauren Gardner.
Well, you guys talked about this UConn offense attacking. It was interesting in speaking with Frank Verducci yesterday, saying if I could describe this offense in one word, it would be flexible. We don't have a roadmap for this game. We're going to feel it out. Every play is going to have something that complements it. And of course, he's very complimentary of Bryant Sheriff's in his way to be mentally calm and stable out there.
It is, Lauren, so interesting about the keep away philosophy against Army. Do you want to score right away or use clock? Johnson up the middle. Hit there by Moss at about the 43. Xavier Moss, the boundary safety, the former wide receiver at Army West Point. Gain of 6. And the Huskies in control, Corey, of the game right now.
Well, I think what Lauren's talking about is that last play. That was an inside zone where you actually fake it, stretch it away from you, and then you oftentimes set up your play action off of that. And that's not going to happen right here. Obvious 3rd down and a control pass.
Tyree Beals makes the catch. Jackson wrestles him down. The spot looked good initially. Needs the 43, and the officials think that's plenty for a first down. Chains move again, gain of 4. Sticks route run perfectly by Tyreek Beals, the true freshman for UConn.
And everybody runs the same route. They're mirrored routes on both sides. There's 2 tight ends in the game. They both run out routes. Both wide receivers run out routes. If you're Army, take a look at the split of the receiver on that play, and you can get an early jump. They haven't jumped or broken on any routes earlier or taken many gambles in the secondary today.
Huskies dominant in the 3rd. On first down. Play fake. Pressure coming from King, who wrestles him down and makes a sack. Andrew King got to the backfield in a hurry. He bolts into the backfield and makes the sack. It's a loss of 7. He had 5 sacks last year for the Cadets.
And this time it's off of the play action. He does a great job with his discipline of kind of going with the run fake and then readjusting his angle. And Sheriffs has done a good job of getting away from some of those during the day, but he can bend well and recontort his frame to get you on the ground.
On second down, pressure coming. Sheriffs gets it off. Bloom makes a nice catch. England the tackle, but Alec Bloom on the improvised throw and catch by Sheriffs. Good athleticism. Gain of 23.
It was good athleticism, and he almost drew that defender up a little bit early, and that's what created the void in behind. And when you have an active quarterback who reacts quickly to what he's seeing, you can make those types of plays.
Almost 4 minutes of the current drive. 9th play coming up. Johnson navigates left. King, England. The first to get to him along with TJ Atemalala, senior from Las Vegas. TJ's dad did a tour of duty in Iraq as a sergeant in the Army. Lost him 2.
Watch right here, this matchup. This is John Voight going up against Levy, and see how he protects the outside and makes a cut back inside to his teammates. You're fighting against a player with probably 36-inch arms, and you're only 6'3". That was an excellent effort on the edge that time.
Last moments of the quarter. Play fake, pressure, King again in the backfield. He has been rocking Sheriffs all day. Andrew King, the junior from Queens Village in New York City, has been a menace to the Huskies all day. Warriors fighting. That's what that signal means for the 4th quarter. The W of the fists. Trying to finish strong for Army in the 4th quarter. Right now they're down though by 9 to UConn. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network. Getting set, 4th quarter from East Hartford. UConn up by 9. Tomorrow, the NFL on CBS, home to Super Bowl 50, kicks things off with a big-time doubleheader. First, the Chiefs challenge the Texans, while the Dolphins face off with the Redskins. Then Black on the Ravens match up with Peyton and the Broncos. Check local listings, beginning with JB, Tony, Bart, Coach, and Boomer on the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines. Can't wait. Anthony Poindexter, defensive coordinator, UConn, won a Super Bowl with the Ravens. Legend at Virginia's numbers retired at Scott Stadium. A tremendous, hard-hitting defensive back for the Cavaliers.
Alert the screen potentially to Newsome over here away from trips.
Big play, 3rd and 20 to start the 4th. Sheriffs, a little pressure coming from Voight. And Voight does end up getting him. Off the edge was John Voight, pushing the play right. And it's another big defensive play for Army. It is a 5-yard pickup. Punt time here coming up for Wayne and the Huskies.
A little surprised on that last play call. It was 3rd down and forever. And I thought maybe the screen could pick you up enough yardage where you have a decision maybe to make on a field goal potentially.
Edgar Allan Poe is deep to receive the punt. High kick. Poe indicates for the fair catch in traffic and grabs it at the 7. He had a muff last week in the loss to Fordham at Michie Stadium. Sure-handed this time. Good punt by Wayne. Army West Point takes over, down by 9. Let's take a look at today's Vistaprint player profile. It's Edgar Allan Poe from Arizona, his career numbers, and Lauren Gardner, a very interesting story with Edgar.
Well, it is actually interesting. The poet attended West Point Academy from July of 1830 to February of 1831. It was described as a short yet tumultuous career at West Point. Now, Poe tried getting kicked out of West Point a few times, and he finally succeeded. Well, this is a rumor anyway, when he showed up to a drill reporting he was just wearing his belts for his cartridges, a smile, and nothing else. Again, guys, that's a rumor. Make of it what you will. Pretty good story, though.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary, over many acquainted curious volume of forgotten lore.
I didn't know you rapped, too,
I
man.
love Edgar Allan Poe. Great story. First down, Army West Point. Bradshaw needs a big play. Smacked. Melon Funwa comes up and lays him out. There is an injured Army player. Offensive lineman slow to get up for Army. Jaron Villegas. Army West Point in the visiting Whites. There's Ahmad Bradshaw. He's run for 126 yards. He ran for 143 in his collegiate debut last week in the loss to Fordham at home. Rensselaer Field, East Hartford, great crowd today. UConn trying for a 2-0 start after winning just 2 last year. Total. Second down, dive play, Giaquinta. Out to about the 14, gain of 3.
The 2 interior defensive linemen, along with the linebackers, have done a good job inside. Aside from a couple of big explosive runs from Bradshaw, not a lot. And 5 yards passing, Dave. It's 3rd down and 4 right here. Expect to see some type of either dive or option again, but they wanted to limit the big plays in the passing game first and foremost.
On 3rd down, Bradshaw pitches. Joe Walker, cutback, stood up and sent backwards, but he does have enough for a first down, got to the 20. Marquise Fan, co-captain of UConn. The outside linebacker made the play. There is another injured Army player.
Well, you come up, you got to make a decision right here. They decide to go for the quarterback there. He makes the right call and pitches it to Walker on the edge and to the boundary side. And when I say the boundary side, the short side of the field.
Jaron Villegas was shaken up a moment ago. He's down now after that last play for Army West Point. Right guard, sophomore from Hawaii. .286-pound sophomore, Jaron Villegas is helped off by Army West Point trainers. Coach is very pleased, Corey, with his film review after the Fordham game. Had the most knockdowns of anyone in the O-line last week.
Well, you're going to see they're trying to execute a double team right there, and that's one of the things they frequently ask him to do when he gets caught up in the mesh point down inside. And you don't know exactly where the injury occurred, but a lot of times that can happen when you're trying to finish off a double team.
He's replaced partner by Colby Energan. First down, Bradshaw looking to turn up field, and Adams wraps him up. He and Stewart combined to tackle offensively for UConn. Gain of 3 there for Bradshaw. Is up to 129 rushing yards. And the 1 touchdown run in the first half from 56 yards out.
Andrew Adams has had a much better game today. Had to miss tackle on a touchdown by Bradshaw, but he's tackled pretty well. He's run sideline to sideline. He's cleaned up a lot of the outside runs and wrapped up well.
Every one of the Army first down plays, partner, today's been a run. 15 of them. No passes. Bradshaw, option, pitch, Asbury. Melon Fonwa says no. That puts him down in the open field. Obi Melon Fonwa had that unsportsmanlike penalty in the first half, playing much better in the second half as well.
Well, the first thing, you take away the quarterback, Graham Stewart. And when you take away the quarterback, the safety inside out, Melon Fonwa takes the pitch. That's how you draw it up all the way back to Pee Wee football, defending the option. And right now it's textbook in terms of the responsibilities by UConn's D.
Play clock at 2. Bradshaw doesn't get it off. Delay of game.
And that's going to be on
False
number
start.
31, Asbury.
Offense, number 3. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Yeah, it was either that or the delay of game. There were 2 penalties really on Army West Point there.
This is uncommon. Again, that's the 5th penalty for Army. And this is not a highly penalized team. Very disciplined, as you would expect. But Army West Point today, some unfortunate for them, unforced errors.
Calvin White is into the game here, partner. We may see him at quarterback, perhaps. Although Bradshaw stays in. White is their tight end and former star quarterback at West Point. Xavier Moss is in, safety turned receiver 2. Bradshaw rolls left, gonna throw on the move, almost picked off. Incomplete. It was Andrew Adams right there to break it up at the 26-yard line. And Army West Point, no choice now but to punt probably here in the 4th.
You got the opportunity there for the captain to finish off what's been a productive day, Adams. And he gets his hands up. Now, he picked one off last week, breaking off the hash. And we've seen him get a lot of interceptions here right on this network, CBS Sports Network, but couldn't corral that one. Good effort.
2-score game. You think about a fake here?
No, too early.
Tardu is punting. Rommel indicates for a fair catch. Surrounded by Army defenders, makes the grab at the 43. And that's where UConn takes over again. Up 9 in control, trying for a 2-0 start to the season. Let's take a look at the Chick-fil-A fan cam to see the fans' reaction here in East Hartford, Connecticut. Good toss. Lefty. And of course the great eats. Noon game, so eggs for breakfast. And a lot for the UConn fans to cheer about today with a 9-point lead. 19-10. Back down to Lauren Gardner.
Well, starting right guard for Army, Jaron Villegas is behind me. The trainers are working on his left leg. As you saw earlier, he left the field unable to put any pressure on that leg. The trainers have gingerly removed his shoes, his sock, as well as a brace there. They're inspecting it, tapping the bottom of his right heel, seeing if he can put any weight on it. And another injury update, starting right tackle Brett Toth is out for the remainder of the game. He is in street clothes with a boot on his left foot, guys.
Such bad news, Lauren. Thank you for that. Villegas and Toth, the right guard and right tackle starters for Army West Point, sideline. Each are sophomores. Villegas a starter last year as a freshman for the Army Black Knights. UConn's best starting field position of the day here, up by 9. Trying to put this game away. Total yards now for the Huskies at 274. Army 148.
That's just the first quarter.
That's right. 180 total. Mayor the motion man. Johnson carries and King says no again along with points. What a play by King, who's been everywhere. He's got 3 sacks in the game, and now add a TFL tackle for loss. It's a loss of 4.
Well, they're continuing to try to run this outside zone, and what they're doing is beating the UConn blockers to the spot. Voigt's done it all afternoon, and that time you saw King shooting a gap. Now, King has played very fast today. Downhill, when he's seen something, he's believed his eyes. 3 quarterback sacks. I mean, you're talking about a phenomenal performance.
4 sacks last year, led Army. Sheriff's on second down. 5-step drop. Boone makes the catch. Drop by England. Inside Army West Point territory to the 48. It's a gain of 10. The tight end so valuable, as offensive coordinator Frank Verducci told us yesterday. Is the UConn offense New England Patriot-like in terms of the tight end usage?
Well, so far it has been in 2015. Now, they were always like that, but I think they've increased even more. This may be the most important down of the game for the Army West Point defensive unit.
On third down, Markel Newsome dances right. Angles, the spot looks pretty good. He got to the 45-yard line. It's a gain of 3, and it will be a UConn first down. Very big play and conversion for the Huskies.
Well, I think Knappy does a pretty good job of maintaining the block against Jordan Smith. He comes off late, but maybe you need a little bit more elusiveness in there. You know, you saw Newsome that time kind of wiggle his way to the first down and find a hole. I think Johnson's been a little bit straight in line and shown that run most of the afternoon.
Jay Bateman, offensive coordinator. Black Knights last year, total defense was 90th of 125 in the FBS. Here's the pitch. Markel Newsome makes a nice cut back, and he's dropped eventually. Run out of bounds by Andy Davidson, freshman from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Played very well for Army West Point last week on special teams. Gain of 9 for UConn.
And you asked a minute ago about the UConn tight ends, are they New England Patriots like in their usage? I think when you watch Tommy Myers block on the perimeter, that's what you see a lot from the New England tight ends. Michael Omanawa with Newey's one of the tight ends for New England who does a really good job on the edge blocking.
Freeing up the Gronk for those TD catches, right?
Got Scott Chandler now, too.
Markel Newsome. First down and then some. Second level and more for Markel Newsome. Drags tacklers all the way to the 26-yard line. Gain of 11. And a missed tackle there by Jeremy Timpf, junior captain for Army West Point.
And now you're getting the cutoff blocks and him making the cuts off of them. And that was the center that time, along with Tommy Hopkins, their left guard. Tyler Samra. Those guys up front doing a really good job now of starting to wear down Army on the ground.
Yeah, just get the feeling. Cadets can't keep up. Sheriff's on first down. It's Markel Newsome. Navigates and stopped by John Bailey. Pick up a 3 for Markel Newsome, who has had a more valuable role in terms of running the ball this week for UConn. 51 yards. More than Ron Johnson's 35. Johnson has a touchdown run today. And it looks like the Huskies are kind of beating Army in its own game in terms of ground production. Well,
there's the difference, though. I mean, you think about those guys up front, 250, 263, 247. UConn 309, 301, and 302. And I'm just talking about the interior line.
Myers, the motion man. Pitch to Markel Newsome. He's been busy. Nice cutback. Missed tackle. He flat flies. England makes the play. It's down to the 13-yard line. There is a marker down.
Maybe that's on Myers.
Holding. Offense, number 5. 10-yard penalty.
Thomas.
Second down.
Will Thomas, junior from Norwalk, Connecticut.
Myers certainly had a really good block himself. You can see him opening up, and then right down here at the bottom, you can see his arms get extended away from Chris Carnegie, and that's where the cut was made. A lot of times you make it easier for those calls to be made when you have it at the point of contact where the cut is being made by the running back.
Second and 14. Sheriffs, 3-step drop this time. Beals makes a nice catch. Cut down by Brandon Jackson. Tyree Bills, emerging star, true freshman receiver from East Orange, New Jersey. Gain of 9.
And this, I think, is where you have to continue to be efficient if you're Sheriffs in terms of the controlled passing game. And they decide to throw it here out of a 2-back formation.
On third down. Pressure coming. Catch by Johnson. Great tackle. Space made there by Brinson. Kenneth Brinson. It's a loss of 2. And a timeout call here by Army.
Brinson's an interesting
Timeout.
player.
Army.
Defensive coordinator Jay Bateman compared him to Jonathan Newsome, who was a 5th-round draft pick by the Indianapolis Colts, and he thinks he's athletically got some of that type of ability. You know, you've seen him walk out and drop into space. He's got a lot of field speed, retracing his steps, and he can make those types of open field tackles you just saw there.
Only one timeout left for Army West Point in the second half. Puyol coming out. Looks like he'll attempt a field goal here for the Huskies. Will be about a 39-yard attempt. Boyle to hold. So here's Puyol off the timeout.
Will be a 39-yard attempt.
Splits the uprights, good from 39. And the Huskies up by a dozen. 22-10. UConn converts, chews clock, and gets closer to another win. To begin the season, they are only 2-10 in 2014. Thursday Night Football is back, and it kicks off this Thursday on CBS and NFL Network. The Denver Broncos will square off with Kansas City, both looking for primetime magic. Football starts here Thursday nights on CBS and NFL Network. Peyton Manning partner, unbelievable head-to-head with the Chiefs. 13-1 career record.
13-1 career record, but going against the Kansas City Chiefs secondary that's tried to improve its length. Marcus Peters was a first-round draft pick. Last year they took Phillip Gaines in the 3rd round. All of that was in preparation for playing the Broncos and Peyton Manning and Demaryius Thomas and those longer threats.
19 unanswered points for UConn here, Corey. The most they had last year in that 2-win season, 16 in the win over Stony Brook and the victory over UCF. Both wins, their only triumphs of 2014. Tarbin kicks off again. Hyatt lets that go over his head for a touchdown. Partner, you mentioned it, second half, the UConn defense has turned on the juice, looking for a win.
Well, it started with Joseph. He made a legitimate statement play early. Carazola's been active. You see Matt Walsh, the scraping down the line. Here was a great tackle by Melanfonwa in the open field. That was a 4th down play, mind you. So when you look at defensive coordinator Anthony Poindexter, he has to be happy with the effort and the improvement from 2014.
As we expected, Calvin White going to come in here. A.J. Shure as well. It's A.J. Shure at quarterback, not White. White can play QB too. It's the backup, A.J. Shure, who's in. And that play broken up there by Luke Carazola on 1st down, nearly had a pick 6.
Just mentioned his name, and if you look at Shure's stats through his career, he's been efficient at times as a passer. You're never going to have a high completion percentage, a lot of low percentage passes in this offense.
He once had a 4 rushing touchdown game. That was last year against Yale, ran for 135 yards, 7 career rushing touchdowns. Shure passes here, and there is White, who makes the catch. Now a tight end, a former quarterback. He's knocked out by Stewart on a sideline hit, gain of 9. So Bradshaw outparted despite running for 129 yards and a touchdown, but he's not a passing quarterback, only attempted a couple in the game here today.
He threw for a lot of touchdowns at Brooks High School, but Shure's the senior. You know, you could tell the teammates kind of respond to him during warm-ups, and that's why he's in.
3rd and short, airmailed snap, movement first, false start, left side of the offensive line.
False start, offense, number 60. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
It's the left guard, Justin Gilbert, senior from Myerstown, Pennsylvania. Converted tackle, cost the Cadets 5.
And right now, UConn has them right where they want them. They're probably going to mix in some of their coverages, bring some pressure potentially.
A.J. Shure on the rollout, throws on the move, looks for Walker, makes a catch! Walker on the move! Is going to score an Army West Point touchdown! 71 yards! Joe Walker Sheds the tackler on the sideline, and hang on a minute. The Black Knights convert. This game is far from over. A.J. Sure comes in relief of Bradshaw and tosses the TD pass to Joe Walker. Incredible. No reason to go for two here, only make it a 4-point game. So they'll try for the one to keep it a one-score game at 22-17. UConn, 10 players in the field.
Swinging gate.
Joseph comes on late. Wachowski for the PAT here. He's got it. 22-17. A.J. Sure in relief of Bradshaw makes this interesting, Corey Chavis.
Well, when you're rolling to your left, this is a difficult pass. He makes it on the money. Walker beats Melifonwu and then shows an extra gear.
College football on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Conoco, because your car knows. By avocados from Mexico, fresh all year long. And by the all-new Chrysler 200, ready to take on the world.
Great look, Bushnell Park, State Capitol Building, 22-17 game. Army West Point right back into the game, Corey Chavis.
And they start off with just a simple curl flat combination. Very accurate throwing the football outside to Kelvin White. And then they get a one-on-one with him rolling to his left. Obi Melifonwu against Joe Walker. And Walker, you can see the speed and the gait right there that he has with the stride lane. A good effort by Andrew Adams. But great execution that time by Army.
Scoring drive recap, only 3 plays. Sure in relief of the fleet-footed Ahmad Bradshaw. Now, with under 5 to go, you try for an onside kick here, Corey.
No way. Kick it off, and you tell your defense they have to shore up. They've done a pretty good job. They've contained Ron Johnson most of the afternoon. It's been Arkeel Newsome who's come in and had more of an impact running the football.
Army perhaps showing an onside kick formation. Wachowski. Lomel is the deepest player back at about the 25. UConn's expecting it here. And Wachowski kicks off. First we got whistles. And a timeout called by UConn.
Timeout, UConn.
Play
That's their first, and it'll be a 30-second timeout.
We got to remember that
timeouts
timeout,
left.
Dave.
Yep.
Remember that later on.
Interesting. Why make that timeout call so close to the kick?
Well, I think he realized that they were going to, maybe midstream, that they were going to go ahead and kick it off. And now you want to try to get your team in a position to have a return and get good field position. Because right then, you're looking at having to drive the football 80 yards again. So, or 75. So, I mean, that's a huge difference.
Black Knights only have 1 timeout left. So would you change your thought process if you're Jeff Monken to onside kick now?
It depends on what type of alignment I get in the front line. I'd have my kicker make a determination, if that was in the back of our minds, as to what type of kick you would do. And right here, they're still defending the onside based on how they're coming out. Now, they're 0-7, or he's been 0-7, Coach Monken, when trailing at this point. So this will be a big hurdle for this Army West Point unit to get over.
Hands team is out there. Noel Thomas, both tight ends in the front line. Lomel still deep at his 22.
You see what UConn's doing now. They're backing up after showing the look.
Deep kick. Lomel grabs it at the foot. Ryan Lomel slides baseball style to avoid any kind of hit and a turnover. Outside the 15, it's a 13-yard return for Lomel, one of the wide receivers and punt returner for UConn.
And I'm assuming that they didn't have a return on, and that's why he slid, because you don't want to waste yardage at this point in the game. Now you're putting them in a more favorable position if you do not pick up a first down. If I'm UConn, the number one thing that you continue to do is try to set up the play action pass. So maybe you run in here on first down, try to set up a play action pass on second down, then get back to running the football.
Come on, kid, come on.
Some 51 yards rushing, featured back here behind Sheriffs. Markel Newsom, second level, dances through traffic. Drags tacklers ahead, a nice pickup out to the 30. It's a gain of 13, first down UConn. Great block there by Tommy Hopkins.
The one thing that you're getting again is the ability to cut back. In that time, you talked about Hopkins. When you're able to have that type of change of direction and to be able to get vertical that quickly, the quick decision-making of Newsom has made a difference here. He's run the ball better than Johnson today.
Any first down is a big first down for UConn here. Army down, there's just one timeout left. Run play, Markel Newsom, off right tackle. Does move ahead for a nice pickup of 3+ yards on the first down run, and the clock continues to roll here against Jeff Monken's Black Knights. Only one play stoppage left for Army. UConn has 2. In no hurry, of course, to stop the clock now. When to use the timeout, Corey, if you're Jeff Monken?
After the third down stop, I think then you have, you give yourself your best chance. You're certainly not going to use it after you stop him right here, if you do stop him here on second down.
Markel Newsom. Nice pickup, but he is shy by a yard of the first down, so a very big third down play coming up. A gain of 5, stopped by the captain, Jeremy Timpf. Newsom fell a bit awkwardly there, and slow to get up.
And right here, with your UConn, you know how important this down is, so you bring Johnson back in the game. You see Newsom go out, he's just short yardage back. Why is it so important? If you get this first down here, now you force them to use the timeout regardless, because they don't have enough time to try to save that last timeout. So if you get a first down here, they will have to use the timeout.
Frank Vernucci makes the call. Big third down. Sheriffs over center. It's Ron Johnson. Push backwards. Jordan Smith got there first. And the timeout called by Army here, as Corey predicted. With 2:33 to go in the fourth, that's their last timeout.
Well, all afternoon, we've seen the linebackers make an impact, shooting down and clogging up gaps. And when they've gone to this inside zone or off-tackle run, it's been Timpf and it's been King. And you've gotten great play inside from Jordan Smith most of the day.
Now, if you're Bob Diaco, do you consider anything else but a punt?
You punt the football and you have confidence that you kind of exercised last year's demons. 327 yards, I believe it was, rushing. Today, they've held Army to 180, 265. They've given up 2 explosive plays, basically. 1 in the passing game and 2 in the running game. You got to rely right here on Justin Wayne to get off a good punt. I mean, and he's had some pretty good punts during his career at UConn.
Pressure. Army can't get to Wayne. Great kick. The ball indicates for the fair catch, makes the grab. Now, which quarterback will it be for Jeff Monken? A.J. Sure had the TD pass to Joe Walker in their last series. Looks like he's ready, getting the last-second instructions from the Army coaches. 50-yard booming kick for Wayne there. They'll go with a passing QB, and they've got 2 of those in Kelvin White and A.J. Sure. Bradshaw will watch. That's got to be tough for Ahmad Bradshaw to be on the bench. He ran for 129 yards this game.
That's fine. It's about teamwork, and right here, this is where it comes to play. Can Sure keep it going?
All right, 2:27 left in the fourth. No timeouts for Army. A.J. Sure throws. It's Kelvin White, and it's a drop. With Stewart on coverage, incomplete at the 11. Not a great start for the Army West Point Cadets, trying to rally for a win here. They need a touchdown for the victory.
Watched him a lot in the pregame warm-ups, working on just that, catching the football. He, along with some of the other tight ends.
A.J. Shore, shotgun, deep ball, Trainer, intercepted! Andrew Adams with a pick! And UConn can put this game away! Second of the season, and fifth of his UConn career. The captain, Andrew Adams, comes up big.
He just threw into an overloaded zone. I mean, they were rolling the coverage to that way. Impossible not to see Adams coming off the hash. He's trying to get it to John Trainer. And you can see his reaction. He knows he made a mistake.
Anthony Poindexter, defensive coordinator, Corey's good friend. It was good to see you guys reunite yesterday.
He's done a great job everywhere he's been in the secondary. Not only here, but also at Virginia. Good football coach.
Victory formation here for UConn to put this one away. Army cannot stop the clock. And how about the Huskies? They're going to go 2-0 for the first time since 2008 under Randy Edsall. That year they won their first 5 of the year. Hofstra, Temple, Virginia, Baylor, and Louisville. That's right, wins over Baylor and Louisville and Temple in the first 5 games.
This football team has gotten better overall, Brino, and I think that it comes down to a number of things, believing and wanting to believe in the process, and I think that's what they've done.
No victory formation this time as Johnson sliding down in front of Xavier Voss in the final moments. Gain of 4 there for Ron Johnson.
A little less than a year ago, they lost the game on an interception. Now they're potentially icing a game against Army with an interception from their defensive team captain. Those are positives for you moving forward as a team.
Andrew Adams loves us doing his games. He had a career best 3 picks against UCF in a game we called here last year. So the decision by Jeff Monken to go with A.J. Shore and not Kelvin White. I thought it was going to be White coming to the game as the passing QB. He did last week late against Fordham. What do you think?
I think it's one of those things where you have to kind of earn your stripes.
Offense, number 4, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Delay of game here for UConn.
I think you got to earn your stripes as a player here at Army West Point. And I think that Sure has done that, and I think they believe he deserved, after getting the call and making the big pass, deserved the chance to try to win the game.
UConn is going to remain undefeated against Army at home, all different fields. And here at Pratt and Whitney Stadium at Rexler Field today. Sheriff's in trouble.
That's a dangerous play.
It was a big loss all the way back to midfield.
Yeah.
TJ Atea Malala.
He fumbled the ball right there, and then they pick it up.
Why are they doing that? Play like that with no timeouts with Army is a mystery. Can you imagine a scoop and score on that play?
And I mean,
would have won the game for Army. Just take a knee.
Well, the thinking there is now, as you look at the game clock and the play clock, it's only a 1 second difference.
39 seconds officially on the clock here. Army out of timeouts. It's 4th down and 22.
So they were trying to run a play instead of downing it to try to get a little bit more time off the clock. But that was
I
close.
understand, but that was dangerous. That was dangerous for Bob Diaco, who's going to get his 4th win. Just his 2nd win over an FBS team. And a 2-0 start for UConn from the American Conference, 22-17 in a battle with Army West Point. The coach told us it would be a 4-quarter fight with the Cadets, and he was right. It's a perfect start for the Huskies in their rebuild.
Good football game. I think it was a well-played game. Surprised with some of the penalties we saw in inopportune times, but the toughness, the hitting, I mean, you want to see more of this game because there were so many big hits, so much contact football being played today that, I don't know, this is the first game I've been up here with you, partner, where I want a helmet. I love some of the contact that I saw out here today. I enjoyed the way these two teams played.
Army coming off a 4-win season, starts 0-2, and the Black Knights will go to their corner with their fans.
And the Huskies too.
Cadets are here from West Point for the Army alma mater, and out of respect for our patriotic student athletes, UConn will join them as well. That's great to see. Ends the same way. Beat Navy. We'll play them to finish the year off December 12th on CBS at 3 o'clock from Philadelphia. UConn will sing its fight song on its end. Time to celebrate for the Huskies. Bob Diaco with Lauren.
Well, Coach, we just heard the Army's alma mater. How special is it for you to be able to play an academy like this?
It's just a great game to be a part of. There's such a class outfit, and obviously ultimate respect for all the men and women worldwide fighting for our country and freedom. And they play so well, and they play so hard, and they're hard to beat.
Frank Verducci said great things about Bryant Sheriffs yesterday. He seemed to live up to the hype. How is he settling in?
He's a great competitor, a great kid. He's a gym rat kind of kid, football guy. And his teammates love him, and he loves them. And he's bought into the mission and all in. He's a great leader right now.
And on the other side of the ball, Andrew Adams, he keeps the streak alive. What is it about him, about your defense, that is so clutch?
Yeah, they thought we were going to be in press, and a little coverage change there, and probably caught them thinking they could get one over the top. So.
Well, thank you very much, Coach, and congratulations on the W.
All right, thanks.
It's Andrew Adams, the captain, Corey Chavis, who puts this game away with a big interception. 22-17, the final here. It's going to be a happy bus ride, 35 miles or so back to the UConn campus and stores for these Huskies, because they're off to a 2-0 start. More coming up from East Hartford. UConn wins over Army West Point 22-17. Huskies in the American Conference are 2-0 to start the season. Lauren Gardner joined by Huskies starting quarterback Bryant Sheriffs.
Well, Bryant, a bit of a rocky start with the fumble there, but you're able to bounce back. How did you respond so well?
I just put that play behind me. It was a bad mistake and awful ball security. I definitely need to eliminate that from my game and keep two hands on the ball and not try to get the first down, as enticing as it was. But I'm glad that I recovered and that we recovered as a team, and people remained having faith in me, and I'm just happy we got the win.
We spoke with Coach Bob Diaco about the culture of this team. I know this is your first season here. How have you seen it evolve so far? How is this team buying in?
Everybody's on the same boat. If you say, like, we're just trying to win every game, and so far we've done a pretty good job at it. We made it harder for ourselves today, but I'm sure it was exciting for the fans.
And looking ahead to next week, you have Missouri in Columbia. How do you prepare for that big SEC matchup?
like any other game. Every day we just work as hard as we can. It doesn't matter the opponent, and we'll go in there and with the same mindset that we have in all the other games, trying to get a W.
Thank you very much, Bryant. Congratulations on this W.
Bryant Sherritt's, Lawrence started his career in the ACC with NC State and actually did have one career start before the transfer when Jacoby Brissett took over the Wolfpack quarterback duties. UConn 22-17. When we come back, a preview of the upcoming game. It's a big one. Minnesota head-to-head with Colorado State.